Hi and welcome. I'm Evangelist Mak Singh, the author of Unlock Your Greatness, and this is your Unlock Your Greatness. I help people cut through the noise, raise their standards, and take ownership of their lives. This isn't about motivation, it's about execution because success doesn't wait for anyone who hesitates. So if you're ready to bring bigger, act faster, become the version of yourself you know you're capable of. Let's get started. Today's sermon is about appreciate change and discover purpose. So we're going to read from the book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, verse 17 to 18. Then I said to them, "You see the trouble we are in? Jerusalem lies in ruins. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." I also told them about the gracious hand of my God upon me. They replied, "Let us start rebuilding." So they began this good work. Change doesn't ask for permission. It disrupts, dismantles, and demands response. For some of us, change hasn't meant businesses that didn't go as planned, ventures that collapsed, partnerships that dissolved. I've been there a couple of times when the business plan looked bulletproof, but life had a different forecast. And it's in those moments when everything seems to break down that you discover whether your faith is built on profit or purpose. Nehemiah walked into a city in ruins and still had the audacity to believe it could be rebuilt. That's the spirit we need in leadership today, the courage to rebuild even when the dust hasn't settled. Change is not your enemy, it's your audit. It tests what's built on truth versus what's built on comfort. Nehemiah could have stayed in Persia, comfortable, employed, respected, but purpose doesn't let you rest in comfort zones. Purpose pulls you towards broken places that need rebuilding. And when everything you've built seems to fall apart, that's not the end, that's a reset. Because sometimes God has to strip away the version of success that you built to make room for the one He intended. Failure doesn't disqualify you, complacency does. If the walls fell, maybe it's so you can rebuild with stronger material, clearer vision, and deeper faith. Nehemiah's purpose didn't come from a profit opportunity. It came from problems that broke his heart. When you've been through failure, you start to recognize that purpose isn't about what you can gain, it's about what you can fix. Everything or every business, every brand, every legacy is built by problems solving others avoid. And after loss, after disappointment, you gain something priceless: perspective. You begin to see what you meant through wasn't wasted, it was preparation. Maybe those past ventures didn't fail. Maybe they trained you to lead this next season with wisdom, humility, and resilience. Let's talk about resilience because rebuilding isn't glamorous, it's gritty. Nehemiah faced opposition, criticism, sabotage. Every builder does. But he kept his eye on the mission, not the mess. That's a mindset you need when confidence hasn't taken a hit. When you when we or you had a business collapse or your faith shaken, remember resilience is not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing to rebuild. Confidence doesn't come back when circumstances change. It returns when you take action again. The more you move, the faster faith returns. Nehemiah didn't rebuild alone. He gathered others. He led. he delegated. Sometimes resilience looks like asking for help and staying accountable to the mission, even when you feel unqualified. Nehemiah didn't pray for a miracle wall, he picked up the bricks and started rebuilding. Prayer is a strategy or your strategy meeting with God, but execution is your proof of faith. Purpose without motion is wasted revelation. Every time you act in faith, whether you're starting a new business, mentoring a team, or launching again after loss, you're telling heaven, I still believe. Execution restores confidence faster than affirmation ever will. After failure, your confidence won't come back through applause, it'll come back through alignment. When what you do finally matches who you are, confidence flows automatically. Nehemiah didn't rebuild because people believed in him, they believed after he rebuilt. So stop waiting for validation before you start again. The act of rebuilding is your validation. So this week, appreciate the change, revisit the rooms, not to mourn them, but to mine them for wisdom. Rebuild your confidence, not from applause, but from alignment, because the same God who called Nehemiah to rebuild Jerusalem is calling you to rebuild your confidence, your business, and your belief in what's possible. The God of heaven will give us success. Book of Nehemiah 2:20. Nehemiah's story teaches us this. Change is the soil of purpose, vision demands movement, faith plus execution rebuilds broken walls and broken systems. So this week, stop fearing change, appreciate it, because somewhere in that shift is your next assignment. Your challenge for the week: identify one area in your life or business that's under reconstruction. Instead of complaining about it, thank God for it. That might be the very place He's preparing your next breakthrough. So ask yourself this week, what problem do I see that others ignore? What issue won't let me sleep until it's solved? Where has God given me both frustration and favor? That's your lane. That's your purpose zone. For me, as you'll read from the book Unlock Your Greatness, I've had an interesting career in sports, media, politics, and in business. But I've seen the struggles, I've seen the challenges, and I've seen the opportunities. And finally, found my true purpose: to serve others from my experience. So I pray that you will able to find your purpose and discover your calling. God bless you.